Test 1, 2. All right, here we go. Synth shot, and we're in room. Great. Okay. I think we're good to go. All right. Hi, everybody. How are you now? Welcome to the second day of this stream. Yesterday we got a whole part of the track done. We got a load of kind of ideas down, and I think we have the good bones of a track. So we're going to be doing more today. I think it's going to be a lot more of stuff in Ableton in the program that I'm working in. So you're going to be seeing a lot more of the kind of the Ableton side of stuff. Might not be as interesting as yesterday with getting proper recording in and everything, but we'll do our best to kind of make it as interesting as possible. If you are into Ableton or you want to learn a bit more about Ableton, then this will be really good. If you have any questions at all, make sure you ask me, and I will do my best to answer them while we're doing it. It's a really, really nice day in Dublin, which I am now. I'm still self-isolating, and I will be for a good while. Let's see how this goes. Okay, cool. So the first thing that we're going to do now today is we're going to do the first listen. So usually what I would do is if I have an idea or a song that I've just written, I will record as much as I can, kind of put down a rough structure or whatever, and then I'll leave it for a day so that when I come back to it the second time round, I will have kind of fresh ears, basically. So I'll be able to listen to it with a kind of a critical ear. So generally what I do is I have notes, which are just over here, and I'll play it first the whole way through, and I'll start taking down notes of kind of what needs to be fixed or what the first kind of impressions are, and then I'll have a much better idea of what I think of the track. So yeah, okay, so we're going to give it a first listen. All right, so let's give it a go. Okie doke. Very nice. The strings are so good. Compression. Piano needs to change. Notes. Very nice. Thank you very much for coming in. That's good. I love that. That was one of the last things we did yesterday. That kind of rival consolesy style synth. We could make that bigger with reverb. Big reverb build up. Ooh, there's a bass. Lovely. And we haven't actually recorded that in yet, so. Very nice. Lovely, yeah. Then we got the Halloween arpeggiator. We could put in Sinead's vocal in somewhere like here as well. Vocal/cutout. That should pan as well. That should go to either ends of the ears, I think. Oh, that's lovely. Needs more of a build up, needs more kind of sounds and build up and kind of white noise and everything. Maybe C sound or something like that, maybe. Lovely. All those little kind of like pieces. Cool, okay, and that's as far as we'd gotten. Okay, so sounds good. Still sounds like a track. Still pretty solid. I still think I could definitely release that. What we can do is, where's my notes there? Here we go. Okay, so basically so that's my first listen, and this is kind of the first things that came out to me while I was listening. So the first one, the strings are good, but what I can do is the best parts of the strings are the parts where you can kind of hear me hit little kind of side notes, or it jumps up and down. So if I put compression on those violin parts, I can bring out that detail much more clearly. So that's one thing we have to do. Then the piano is the same the whole way through. If you have a look, when we wrote it, we just wrote these pieces out, and you can see them all along here, and they all just sound very similar, and they're the same the whole way through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in some little extra kind of notes in certain places, just to kind of make the piano feel more real. I always have a really important thing with pianos when I'm using them, that they have to be like really sound really real and sound really natural, and if you put in little pieces that are different throughout the track, it's just going to feel different the whole way through. So then the hats, I didn't really like the hats. Let's go back over to the hats and have a listen. I think the hats could be louder, and I think we could probably make them a bit sharper, and there could be like one extra hat pattern in there that would kind of add a little bit more onto it, which might be nice. And then the kick pattern, I think, like, so the kick comes in after the and then the kick comes in, but I think you could do a slightly different pattern on this one. That would be much more interesting. So I think at one point we're going to need to go through and find all the drums, just concentrate on the drums for a little while, and like add in all these little extra pieces to make them kind of a little bit more interesting. The structure I'm really not happy with. I think it is the exact structure that I would go for every single time I would go to one of these tracks. So I think that's kind of boring, and I kind of want to make it a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to try and pair different elements and see how each one sounds. And then this thing here is there's no first sound. I have this kind of rule that I have when I produce nowadays, which is basically the first sound that you hear needs to be something that nobody's ever heard before, because I find that if I'm going through something like Spotify or something like that, you're flipping through all these tracks, and unless you hear something that you haven't heard before, you're kind of like, you just skip through stuff way too quickly and you don't pay attention. So we need to find like a certain piece of something that somebody hasn't heard before and make that the first sound. So we'll try and mess around with that and kind of have a think about that. The guitar is really nice, but I think if I go in and cut it up a little bit and change the notes a little bit, I think we can make it a little bit more interesting. It needs like one more higher note in certain points. So we'll go through that. And then what else? Guitar, second note in, yeah. So then when stuff comes out, we can use a big reverb on the really cool sound that we did here, which was this guy. Yeah, this guy. Yeah. So this was one of the last things that we did yesterday. It has this like real, I keep saying it's like a rival console sound, because I always find rival console does this really well. Use granular delays and like have like really kind of strange sounds. It's kind of out of your control, but we can, if we build that up with a reverb, so you can go like this and make it bigger and bigger and bigger as it goes on. You could even be really smart, and if you doubled it and went lower, I wonder what that would sound like. 1 second now, let's double that and see if we went down one lower, what does that sound like? So you have the two of them together and you have an octave lower. And that could make it just sound stronger and bigger, you know? Yeah. You know, something like that. So we'll think about that a little bit more, but we can add those pieces in. We have to record in the bass, because the bass is still just playing off the MIDI notes, but the bass line is much better than the first one that I did. That was also one of the last ones we did the last time. We just like drop it in. I want to hear what the bass sounds like without the piano, because that could actually be a whole section of the song where the piano suddenly comes out and it's just the bass and one or two other elements with some kicks and stuff, and have a nice kind of little jam session down at the end. The shaker, I'm still not delighted with it. I'm going to keep messing with it and see. I might be able to put like a pumping effect onto it to kind of like keep it really bouncy and stuff and kind of add to the rhythm a little bit more. I might just need to shove it over and back a little bit. So we still have Sinead's vocal, which we got at the very end. I just threw it in at the end there. You can see it here. So this is what Sinead sent. So she was in the chat yesterday and she just like, I was like, oh, just send over something if you've got something, and she sent this over, which just sounds absolutely amazing. Which is really cool. So she sent that on, which I think is really, really nice. And I think what I'll probably try and do is maybe cut it up and do little pieces with it and stuff like that. So we still have to put that in, and that is a good one that we could actually, if we could design something, that could be the first sound as well. Actually, it sounds a bit like that Gabriel from Joe Goddard, if you know what I mean. And then after that, so the Halloween synth is this guy, this Dave from the Galaxy, who was in the chat yesterday, William fake name, dubbed this the Halloween synth, which you can hear here, which it does sound very Halloweeny when it doesn't have the chords with it, which is interesting. But I think if we pan that over and back, so if you're listening to it in headphones, it can go from one side of the side to the other. Very spooky. And then there's going to be like some more build up stuff. I'm going to show you some tricks of how we build up some of those areas where the bass isn't in, so that you kind of still have a huge amount of effect and still a huge amount of power, but just without the actual sound. And then we can use the C sound maybe to build up that white noise as well. I always use C sounds for white noise because you got this big movement stuff that people doesn't have, and then I've recorded it all from the west of Ireland, so we'll get into that a little later on. Okay, so we've got plenty to do here, so make sure you stick around, get a cup of tea, and you can have this on in the background. Again, we'll be kind of in this area here and messing around with this stuff a lot more now today, so it'll be mainly sound and nothing too flashy. And again, if you have any questions in the chat, just make sure you ask them and I'll do my best to answer them. Carlo yesterday was really interested in the program. This is Ableton. This is what I've used for my entire life when I'm producing. It's a lovely program. It kind of starts itself out by using kind of stuff like loop stations, very similar to just a very big computer based loop station, so that's why I got into it in the first place. And since then I've just been kind of producing with it all the time. So yeah, so here we go. Okay, cool. So I really like these violins. First of all, this was the sound that we had yesterday. You can hear Vietnam here. This is a recording I did in Vietnam. Sounds so nice. I might bring that up a little bit more as well. So nice. And then when you mix it with the violins, so nice. Okay, let's get rid of this guy, and we have this taken out because we don't need it. So now I'm going to make this a little bit clearer by using a compressor. One I use a lot is the SSL comp, which is this guy here. Yeah, so that'll just make it a little bit clearer. Very nice. And then we have this guy, which I really like. This really sounds to me now like one of my favorite film soundtracks, which is Suspiria, which is made by Tom York. It's beautiful. That's the wood going up and down, the strings going like that, which is really nice. Let's see if we can get this nice and loud. We'll just try and get it touch the compression. Yeah, there we go. It's very quiet still, so we'll just have to deal with that. Now, so that's a little bit better. I'm gonna bring that up a little bit. Let's have a look at how it looks on Claire Sands. You'd love to add some trippy fiddle violasis? By all means do. If you're at home and you're not doing anything, what you should do is basically start recording some stuff. Doesn't matter what quality or whatever, we'll throw it in no matter what. I'm going to write in an email address into the chat, and if you want to send something on to me, and you can add to this track, no problem at all. I'm going to put a space there in case there's any spam stuff like that. Now, so there's an email address you can just send stuff onto, and I would love to add some extra stuff onto this, and we can make it as long or as short as we need, or have little sections of it or anything at all. So absolutely send as much as you like on. I'd love to hear it. Okay, cool. so much sound in there. That's from, you can hear like all the, see if I can go out a little bit probably. I really like this. Okay, Dre, yeah, definitely send on a photo of your cat for the artwork and we'll definitely add it in. We can do a little collage if everyone wants to send in some stuff too. Alright. Lovely. Okay. Let's get up here. Okay, so what else do we have in these notes before we get into stuff? Strings are good, piano needs to change. Okay, cool. So what we need is we're going to get this piano now and we're going to, what I would call, humanize it basically, which is basically like this. We'll take a little bit out, we'll drag out and we'll give it its own little section over here. Brilliant. Excellent, Claire. That's really exciting. Okay, cool. Definitely send it on. Send it on as a WAV file if you can, and that would be amazing. Class. Okay. Right, so here's our. Okay, I'm gonna turn off the full basically. Alright, so here's our piano. So if you just had that repeating over the track over and over again, it'd be really boring, and that's how you get into trouble when you're kind of a producer, where you start kind of becoming a slave to the loop, because you just kind of go like, okay, well that's fine, that works fine, I don't have to like change it up or anything like that. So we're going to change it up now to make it interesting the whole way. And people like subconsciously notice this stuff a lot. You can already see that I've moved all the kind of the MIDI lines in and out and stuff so that it's slightly different. So we're starting on this side because it was more interesting if we started on the second half of the loop. So let's say if I make it into so 1 2 3 4 1 2, okay, yeah, that's 1 2 3. Da, na, na. Na, na, na. Na, na. Okay, so that's a 4-bar loop. So then we're going to consolidate that. So now we have it in a full section. Okay. And then I'm going to add little bitines up at the top here. So, okay, so like that. We can add a little bit of percussion. So. And we'll leave these ones run across it as well and see how that sounds. Yeah. Add an extra one in there though. I know, I have such a I have such a piano singing voice. The worst singing voice in the world. go dun, 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 dun. These are good enough to kind of go up a little bit louder as well, so people can hear them a little bit more. I know it's dun, 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 which is already here, so okay, let's see how this goes. I'm kind of annoyed that my main kind of chords have to be cut in half for this note, but it makes sense, I think. Oh yeah, we'll definitely do an auto-tune reverb, like Daithi doing singing voice thing. I've done it in the last while. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Bam, boom, boom. It's great. Yeah, let's see what it sounds like now with the bass. I think the bass will really add a lot to it. See there, those little melodies as well are really good ways when you're messing around. Top tip from Daithi, they're a really good way to find vocal melodies, and I do that an awful lot, where I will start messing around and try and add little extra bits into a piano, and then suddenly you'll find that you have a vocal line, because that's basically kind of what it is, kind of like a top line, right? So the piano I'm using is it's called una corda, which is Kobina. You'll probably know this. Kobina is a very good producer as well, if everybody knows the Kobina in the chat. Una corda is this lovely kind of natural sounding piano that a guy called Niels Fram actually built. I wonder if I can actually show you a picture of the actual... I think I can if I go like this. Yes. So this is what the piano looks like, and they built it to make it this kind of really like soft kind of piano that's like super calm and super like atmospheric, I guess. But this plugin is Contact, but this version is absolutely amazing because you can add in loads of different things. So if you have a listen, so here's our piano, and you can already hear it sounds very soft and lovely, but you can also add stuff like ambience, and there's a whole pile of different selections. So if you want it to sound like the piano is playing in Dark Ruins, you can add in all this stuff for like spooky. We keep our spooky vibe going on. Raining something, so you can actually have rain playing in this inside. And some of my favorite stuff is like this guy here, which is so you can have it sound like there's an actual piano player playing the piano. You can hear all the creaks. And then you can even add fabric onto the fabric hitting off the keys, and actually have an idea about that fabric stuff, which we might do a little later on for the percussion. So that sound, that fabric sound, is like people put it up to kind of soften the sound of a piano, but we could actually use that to really earthen up the drums a little later on. So we might come back to that actually, and I'm going to put that into the notes as well when we get to the kick pattern. So felt sound mix, and if you want to hear a really good record that uses this stuff to percussion to effect really well, there is a song called Love Crimes, which you should look up, from one of the singers from Wild Beast, or sorry, yeah, I think it is Wild Beast, but amazing track. Okay, cool. Now, so we have a bit more of a kind of an attitude there. I'm going to change the color of that piano so that we have it there. And now I'm going to do a slightly different one as well here. So we're going to have a little change. Dun, 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 dun. Boo boo boo. Here's your breakdown one. Du, du, du. Du, du. Here, I think. Du, 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 du. Not great. Let's go higher. Not sure about the timing on this guy here, so yeah, it's actually fine. Yeah. Doo-doo. Do-do-do. Do 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 do. Something like that. Do do. Do do do. Lovely. Do 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 this can be just a little bit better. I think we've got 2 more notes or something like that, I think. Oh, you do that. Again. Too hard on this. I don't want to bring down the... Yeah, so... Let's see how those sound together now. So just really just sound like a kind of a pianist actually just playing it out and kind of jamming with it. When you add that to drums and stuff, you don't even need to add more drums in because you're adding the percussion in with the melody, you know? Which is really nice. So instead of just this very simple, which we will be using in certain parts, especially at the start, you just added a whole pile of different kind of like interesting things to listen to. So it's that, and then you turn it into this. It's just lovely. If we add in the bass. I find like when I'm producing more now, the more I tend to do, the more it's like, don't just add loads of stuff in, just take the things you have and make them better. It's kind of really important. Because if the stuff that you have isn't good enough, then it's just going to affect the track by the end, you know? It's such a nice little kind of jam part. And you wouldn't even need vocals for that now because it's kind of interesting to listen to, you know? Alright, that's good. Let's see what else is on the notes. Okay, so the hats and the kick patterns. So I think we're going to go into drums now and we'll play around with the drums a little bit more. So let's add another little section here. And we will add these drums in. So here's our kick first of all. Very simple. Yeah, so that's your kick. Then I have a hat here, which is this guy here. Okay, first things first, I'm going to take out this delay a little bit, just so we get a better idea of what we have. That's quite nice. I'm gonna add in the piano so that we can feel the where the rhythm is needed, and then we have this very simple rim shot snare as well. So there's 2 clicks there. Again, that's in the delay. We're gonna add all that delay in at the end again. so it's a very simple drum pattern. We don't want to get too kind of bogged down in like drums. You need to keep it very simple. Here's the snare, the shaker that we added yesterday as well. Which adds a lot of movement, which is quite nice. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to add in this soft piano felt sound onto the kick, and we're going to see how that sounds. So the thing that we're going to do here can either go into the onto the kick or off the kick, and you can add a whole pile of different stuff to it. Okay, so let's add in and see. Let's delete all these bad boys down here as well. Okay, so we're going to get a note like this and then go on the foot. Ooh. Okay, so that's the kick sound. So now we have that there, right? So it just sounds like a piano. But what we're going to do is we're going to turn off this, and turn this on. So the couple of different felt sounds. So anything that you do with these now, and you add it to the, okay, so I'm going to turn off as well. I'm going to do this over 2 seconds now. If you add this to the kick, it's going to have this like really nice earthy feel to it. Okay, so let's go like this. Take this guy out as well. Okay, doke. Good. Hang on one second now. It's really interesting. You can just hear all the it's cool. Okay, let's have a listen to a couple of different ones of these. So you have pleather, cotton, which is really nice. Silk is a bit higher. Felt has a long kind of lead to it, so I think we'll keep it more simple than that. Leather's nice. Leather's too loud. Let's go with leather. Okay. Yeah, none of that matters. Okay, cool. Okay, dope. So I'm going to record it in. I'm going to add a channel. I'm going to go effects. So let's go from here. And record in. And let's bring it up in volume. Okay, good and loud so we know what we're dealing with. Got such a nice click to it. Okay, so that'd be great. Okay, so then we record this in. So that's just the sound of the keys hitting off the piano without the actual notes on it. And you can hear it's different each time, so it's a really interesting way to kind of add a bit of life to your drums. We're gonna need a bit of this now. We don't need about that much. And then we'll get rid of this and get rid of this. And we add this to the kick, so kick. Oh, we can just add it here. Ooh. Alright, so So already you can hear there's like a kind of, it adds this kind of character to the whole drum, which is really nice. Now we're gonna try and take some stuff out. So we don't need the bottom end of it because we only want this part here. It's really nice. Now I'm gonna get the piano, turn it on again. Woo! Oh yeah, I forgot that okay, that needs to turn off, this needs to turn on. There we go. Alright, so then I'm gonna try and tune this into what we're looking for. So let's loop and compose. I'm just like tuning it into this. Oh, okay. Nice. Lovely. Okay. There we go. And now we're going to mix that with the drums. So if we go here and we group them together. And I'm going to mix them with a little bit of distortion first anyway. I think actually we had distortion on the kick, didn't we? We did, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to take that out. And I'm going to add it to this one. Lovely. Just adds this little bit of character that's really nice. I'm gonna put a frequency down on this to make it a little bit more earthy. Lovely. And just for practice sake, what happens if we put it on the offbeat? Yeah, it'd be good for a techno track, but not for this one. Okay, cool. So we have that very simple. So I don't like the rim section on this, that second one. That needs to be more kind of sneery or something. That's nice. Possibly? Yeah. Shaker that we recorded yesterday. Not entirely sure about it. I'll tell you what we can do. There's a really cool thing that you can do here if you add in. So here's your shaker. Shakers have this kind of load of noise on them always at the very ends and stuff, but you can do a kind of a cool thing where if you make it to beats on Ableton, it can do a thing where it takes out the kind of the very quieter sections and kind of cut it to make it a little bit more rhythmic. So you quantize the sample you add it to beats. This is for producer people who are in the chat. This is kind of complicated stuff. And then you select this guy here and then turn that down, and it gives like, it kind of cuts out the low end of the shaker. So instead of this, you can make it a little bit more tighter, give it more space. Like that almost, you know? Catching a little bit on this guy here, so I'm just going to go like this and go like this and go whoo. Yeah, that's a bit better. It's got a nice little, sounds so interesting on its own, but when it's with the beat it actually sounds a lot better. And now I'm going to pump it so that on the kicks it's going to pump a little bit more and give it a little bit more of like a whoop whoop there, like that. Yeah. And then I'm gonna tune it a little bit. Oh, amazing. All right. Those drums are a lot better. I like them a lot more. Let's have a look at the hats now. See, there's loads of reverb on that, and I think we can make these like higher and sharper and feel a bit more kind of real. Let's try and bring up the transfer. It's very metallic, you know? So I'm gonna try and earthen it up a little bit. And what we're gonna do as well is when we get the drums, we're gonna put all the different sections in different areas. 1 second now. So what we'll do is, so say with the hats, bring down the 60. We put that slightly to the right. Put the shakers slightly to the other side. It'll make everything sound wider. If you're listening on headphones, you'll be able to hear this a bit clearer. Here's the shaker. And I think if we're smart, we could actually add another hat sample going chicka 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 chicka, and I'll show you a trick that I've done a few times before. That I learned from Chromeo. Have you heard Chromeo, the band? They have a really good trick for hats that are on the 16th note. So I'll show you now. So okay, I'll find a very small little hat first. They're all big long ones, little tiny ones. Ooh, that's very nice. An 808 one is perfect for this. Okay, cool. So what you do is, what we want is the chicka 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 sound. So we're gonna get that. We're gonna get rid of these fellas. I'm gonna get this guy, 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 right? So that's the sound that we want, but that sounds very kind of like mechanical, and you can usually, a lot of people add this groove to it, which is basically like you can add in a groove. But another really nice trick you can do is there's a little trick that your ear plays on you, where if you go down like this, see this pattern of the strength of the volume of the hat, you can bring them down and then up, and you make this little kind of a U shape, basically like this. And you can already hear there's like a kind of a very light, like extra rhythm to it, basically. See? I try and do this by hand so that they're not all the exact same always, just so that it's kind of a bit more natural. Like this. You've made a sampler patch out of my humming. Incredible. Okay, yeah. Send it on to you can send it on to my WhatsApp as well. Jeez, this is very handy. We've got a real kind of like a working together. Participants always looking for the money. Okay, cool. So that's a nice kind of thing. I'm going to shorten this hat up even more now. Hang on one sec. Yeah, and then fade out. And bring it down in volume. And I'm going to try and soften it as well, because it's very sharp. Yeah, there we go. See, like that? A little bit like this as well. Okay. Try and tune it now. Try and tune it a little bit more into the piano. You can hear that with the volume. It goes like chugga 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 chugga. It kind of chugs a little bit more. It should go really well and nicely with the shaker as well. Lovely. I'll try and put it to the other end of that. So what you're trying to do at this section is you're trying to use the elements and try and make it interesting enough that you'll be happy to listen to it for a long period of time. And that way, when you start building the structure proper, you'll know that each of these pieces kind of work well together. Pretty happy with those drums now. I'll sharpen all them up, and we'll kind of, when we do proper mixing, we'll harden all this stuff up and make it very kind of loud and clear and stuff, but it's really important to have the elements right before you start doing the mixing parts, I always think. Lovely. Lovely. Okay, cool. What else is on our notes? Okay, so we have the kick pattern stuff done. Structure, we're going to get back to in a second. First sound thing we have to do. Guitar note sound. Okay, cool. So I'm going to do this now. So I'm going to get the guitar sound. So we made this very simple guitar sound, and I'm not 100% on it. It has this kind of... You can see we have this warp sound. And a H delay that is very loud, I think. Do with this now is change where the delay is going in. So the delay is going dung 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 dung. Maybe we should have it go dung 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 dung. Yeah, I want that. I think we can go brighter than that now. 1 second. Don't like the reverb on it. Yeah, that was what was wrong. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna do this up, and I think it needs to go like do a high note instead of a low note that we have there. No. Dun. Yeah, this guy's out as well, so we're gonna get this fella back in here. This boy is wrong. So we're gonna go here and here. Just fix him. Thank you very much, Sacred Animals. It is sounding dreamy. I like it a lot. And then this guy needs to go there again. Ooh, it's got a really nice funk to it, that guitar now. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. Lovely. Alright, I'm gonna just commit this now to memory so that I won't have to change it again. I don't have to bugger it around. Alright. Okay, so now we got some samples in there, I think. So if I come over here and go over to my Gmail, let's see what we have from here. 1 second now. Okay, and while that's downloading, I'm very quickly going to clean this place up because this place is a mess. Okay, so Sinead vocals, that's hats 2. I'm gonna get rid of that and change that color so that we know what it is. There's my kicks, shaker 2, snares, soft piano is fine there. Bass is going grand. This is the bass in. Then we have our new guitar, which is very nice over here. I'll get rid of this fella. Then we have violins. So there's violin 1, violin 2. That's all fine. Then this guy here is Halloween synth, is it? No, that's grain synth, we'll call it. Then we have an INST2 here, which I think might be just, yeah, there's nothing on this, so I can get rid of that. Very important to clean up your project while you're working along because you'll get bogged down in useless stuff. This is the Juno channel that I don't think we recorded anything in. Oh, we did? Wait, did we? Yeah, what we did here. Oh, that's not done yet. Okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Okay, cool. We were trying to build onto that, but I'm going to cut that out now. Oh, we might come back to that for some stuff. Then there's the Halloween synth. Okay, and that's recorded in Halloween synth. Very good. The Rev 2, that is just MIDI, I believe. Yes, so that's just MIDI, so we can close that down. M1, we haven't used that yet, I don't think. Yeah, so that can be closed down as well. And they were the original chords that we had. Okay, cool. So now we have tidied that up. The Sinead vocals, that's all good. I'm gonna turn that there. Okay, so now let's add 3 more channels and see what we have here with these guys here. Okay, okay. Now, one. Here's 2. Oh. 2. And here is 3. Sinead White loves a good clean project now. She does a good spring cleaning. We're all inside. We've all got to go clean our project files. So if you are at home and you've nothing to do, go through all your old project files if you're a producer and clean them up. Get a bit of spring cleaning in there. Get your Dyson in there and hoover it all up. Oh wow, okay, cool. Oh wow, okay. Amazing. Unreal. Wow. I'm putting them together now, but they might even be good. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, great. Clear Sounds, thank you very much for sending these on. This is amazing. Let's see how it sounds with the piano first of all. The kind of the bedrock of the track. Hang on one sec now. Okay. Woo! Amazing. Incredible. Amazing. Let's see how this guy is. See, that like can be used over and over again as a thing there. Lovely. Oh, gorgeous. Okay, and then guy here. Lovely. That's a really nice softer one, so we can build up from one to another. Okay, and I just want to try that now with the bass. And I might actually try it as well with the grain delay synth as well. See, this is the kind of thing now where it's like... See how this sounds with the drums. Thing now. What if we change? So I'm just going to see if we can do a breakdown with this as well. Would be lovely. So if you go dum dum. So what we'll do with these is, I'm not going to pan them left and right, I'm going to send them over and back because they actually work quite well together. So we could do two things. We can bring them in at different times, and we can also send them to all different sides of the spectrum. So hang on a sec now. So we'll go audio effects, pan, auto pan. So let's concentrate on this guy first. Gorgeous. And if I bring it around to this, say, it's gorgeous, isn't it? It's amazing. If we can bring it around from one side to the other, so it'll spin around like it's moving the same way as it's been played. That's so nice. Don't want to put them too much out, but the way they spin around is so nice. So if we had them going in all different directions. I think this might be a really nice start to the thing. We might have our start. So let's try and add in this take out these guys and take out these guys for a second till we hear what it sounds like, just as a kind of like a pretty cool. Okay, one second. And then if we had like, so you're like, what the hell is this? We're just like listening out of nowhere, and this is it's come true. And then go doom, 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 doom. So kicks. So I'm gonna take these guys out for a second so that we can add them in again, but so there's just two of them, and then we can add in the extra one later on. It's gorgeous. If I heard that now, like if I listened to my Spotify, I'd be like, whoa, what is this thing? I'm in like in a different world. And then I'm gonna go dum dum dum. I'm just gonna see what it sounds like with the kick, if the kick does the same thing as the thing. So, yeah. here and then here, because you can see they're kind of like, these two are similar, so you can kind of alternate them. Let's try that now. Okay. Okay, we've done all those. Sinead, I'm going to cut up Sinead's vocal in a second now so that we can have that as a main kind of breakdown or something. Gorgeous. Sounds so natural. Okay. Okay. How did we have this last time? Oh yeah, okay, so then we can bring that in at a certain point. Yeah. Look it up. So we're going to start off with this intro. I'm going to drag everything forward actually because we're slightly off. All the way down to here. Get all of these guys in so that we have selection. This. Yeah. Consolidate these guys and slowly bring them in, so that, because it's a bit much when you come straight in on it. So we're going to start with the string section that Claire San sent in, and then we are going to have the Vietnam recording. So it's just those two things. The Claire San's violin stuff almost sounds like a kind of a Vietnamese style like sound and everything as well, which is really interesting. So then we'll slowly bring in the tonal stuff that we did yesterday, and then slowly build it up into a thing, and then bring in the piano, which is kind of the big clear point. And I think we can go straight into a little bit of a jam, so that if somebody's listening, they're kind of going like, oh, okay, cool, I get this. And then we'll take a lot of stuff out and bring in some percussion elements and maybe a cut up of Sinead's vocal or something like that, and go from there. We'll see how that works. Okay, so I'm going to bring this like this, and I'm going to bring this like this. Oh, I forgot to. Okay, I'm going to do this guy here. Consolidate. Very nice. Very unique track. I like it. This is really fun as well. It's a very good plus to the whole streaming thing, that you can have people in the chat who are interested in the track and then just send on some samples and we could throw them in. It's pretty amazing. Because it's quite strange, like producing in front of a whole pile of people, because you're trying to kind of keep it interesting and keep talking, because usually you're just sitting in front of a computer not saying anything and like living in your own little world. But yeah, this is fun. Okay, doke. All right, let's bring these guys up. Okay, so it's this guy here is the offending fella, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, cool. I can see this now, like this. Amazing. Just opens like a flower. Lovely. So now it'll go doom 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 doom. Doom doom doom. Doom doom doom. Yeah, and then this guy in here. Doon doon. So then if we go I really like to take some of the drums out when it goes dun dun, so that you kind of get this vibe of like so I just want to kind of like take out a whole pile of stuff when it goes dun dun, so then when it comes back in you have loads. So you know what I mean? Okay, I can hear the offending guy. Here he is. Like that. No, don't like that. Almost too busy still. I think we're gonna try and do something else different instead. Hang on now. I'm gonna take out. Dun, dun, dun. Let's just keep the kind of the jam going for a little bit, I think. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. And if we like slowly bring up something instead, I think might be just a little bit stronger. You kind of need to kind of sit in this. There needs to be not enough like you don't want to like kind of go, oh well, something has to go in now. You kind of want to keep the jam going. The violins are beautiful on their own, so the guitar could go up slowly, maybe. This maybe try that. Lovely. Oh. Slowing down. Let's save anyway, first of all, before anything goes wrong. Oh, everything stopped for some reason. Okay, guys, give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to check what's wrong here, and we'll be back in 2 seconds. All right, guys, I think we're back. I had to just restart the computer there for 2 seconds. Not really sure why. But we're back on. We're still here, and everything's still here, so it's all good. We're all solid. Always good to immediately save whenever you're doing something. There we go. The violin is so nice. See, I can't do that style of violin playing. It's so nice to have a kind of a different style in, because I usually have such a kind of a traditional feel to everything. It's really nice to have this kind of very nice natural vibe to it. So now we're going to put in the interesting piano here and here. So the violin is here, but I'm actually going to take this out just to try and see what it sounds like if we have a bit of a kind of breathing space for this particular section. So what happens if we just go like this, and I'm going to kind of run the violin down here so people kind of don't really notice it go away as much. Try that. Do I have any recommendations of how to get back unsaved tracks? Like everybody, I've had my heart absolutely broken from stuff like that happening. Honestly, my best thing is basically I have a like an automatic save where I just go command and save, and then every so often the computer itself saves as well. I have everything backed up to like an automatic backup that backs up every kind of 30 to 40 minutes, and then other than that, Ableton, if you have like the kind of the crash log files kind of thing, you can look it up on YouTube, but generally it's quite good at kind of finding stuff. Yeah, like the other kind of thing is that like I had Ableton 9 for a long time, and we're on Ableton 10 now, and I eventually just kind of paid for it, because what would happen is sometimes Ableton 9 would just suddenly shut off for no reason, and I think it's just because any type of bugs kind of get worse over time, so you just kind of have to keep it updated is really one of the main things. I am definitely going to release this track after it's done. We're probably going to release it for free. I want to put it up on the Bandcamp or the SoundCloud, and we'll try and put it up on Spotify as well, and yeah, we can say we're all part of this at the start. Sounding good, really happy with it now. These violin parts are really kind of, again, it adds that thing that we had in the notes, which was basically like first sound. So like this thing where like if this comes up on like on whatever, like a Spotify playlist, or if somebody recommends it to you, immediately you get this vibe where it's suddenly, in an electronic track, is really interesting. Somebody hasn't heard this before, you know, so it's good. Okay, let's get back to this part here. So nice to have that extra piece of piano. Well, yeah, lovely. So we can bring that up again. Okay, so. Kick out here. So these guys need to kind of edge up, if you know what I mean, instead of let's bring them back to here. In the last couple of years, I've gotten really into the idea of, when you're making dance music, there used to be always this thing where it was just like, oh yeah, stuff has to suddenly come in, you have to have this like drop always in. But I find that like the dance music that I really like at the moment has stuff that just kind of like slowly edges its way in when you're listening, and you kind of don't realize it until it's there, which I really like in dance music now. Just adds a bit more kind of like naturalness to it. Beautiful. And straight back in with a nice big boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. And let's add in these shakers now and get to the full force of the track. One thing we're going to do now is here, so the piano just here at the end, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the low end of the piano. so that we have a much more of a difference between when the bass comes in and when it isn't. So if you go here, this lower note here needs to go out. So see, so that goes na 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 instead of like lower, so that you have this kind of sudden pause. And if I, so what happens if we do? Take out this guy at the end as well. Let's try here, say. Still don't like that kind of drop-in stuff. I think it's because I probably should have written it so that those two notes, those da na na, were like kind of coming into it. But let's just keep going like this for now. Anyway, keep it kind of off our toes. Yeah, it's pretty good. I like that. And we'll bring in the strings here as well. Yeah, that sounds might be a bit busy, so we'll see how we go. We might bring them in the sound. Yeah, see, these guys actually clash with this fella up here. So what we'll do is we'll do a breakdown after that and bring the violins back in as a kind of a breakdown. Lovely. So this is what we did. So this granular delay is just kind of, this is me playing the synth in all these weird ways. But then when you add this portal effect, which I can't keep recommending enough, this guy here, it's called portal. Granular synthesis, it kind of adds this like crazy grain sound. But what it also means is that we can add it in a little bit earlier. So if we just have the note go in a little bit earlier, so it'll kind of arrive in. Yeah, I want to just get the part that has the first note. So let's try here, say, and turn that back on. Lovely. Everything out. Everybody's calm. If you're playing live, everybody's like, oh my god, we know what's gonna come up next. This is gonna happen. Oh my god, here we go. And we'll bring up the bass a little bit to make it a little bit louder. out here now. Let's see what it sounds like with, what if we do the bass? Woo! Okay. And then, let's see what this sounds like with it. Oh, it's so nice. Feels like I really like it. It's like everything's just been taken apart. And then we bring this fella in. Just everything slows down. Yeah. That's so cool. Okay. And that's gonna go here, and then this guy's gonna go here. So nice. Get all the kicks and the snares and everything now. We're gonna add them on here for the second kind of drop. Actually gonna swap this guy to here just so that we kind of alternate it up a bit. Let's see how that sounds. actually. Here and here and here. Try and drop this out. See how that feels. Everything pulls back before the big drop. We can do like a pause here to just hold off just a little bit longer, I think. So it's from here down to here. So. Oh wait. Dun, dun, dun. Like that, okay. Dun, 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 dun. Like that, basically. Okay, there we go. I think it needs to go back one more, is it? Just catch people off guard a little bit. Let's see how that feels farther back. Very nice. Coming together now. we have a really nice structure too. Should be fun. So everything kind of comes out, starts to wind down now a little bit more. I'm gonna try and bring down that synth. Add in this guy here and this fella, just so that we make this part at the end a little bit more interesting. Oh, lovely. Lovely. So it starts and ends with the same kind of vibe, so that you've kind of been in the song the entire time while the atmosphere is going on underneath it. Gorgeous. Strings really make it. Fair play, Claire Sands. Oh, I forgot the guitar. Gorgeous. Lovely. This needs to sneak up a little bit more, I think. Lovely. Yo, so Sheridan's in with the chat, ready for a donk. Put a donk on us. Gorgeous now. So we have loads of sound there. And we're gonna slowly bring it back down into the Vietnam streets again. Gorgeous. To end with this fella here, I think. Yeah, last thing, piece of it, yeah. So here. Lovely. Okay, doke. So we have a pretty good structure there now, I'm pretty sure. There's like a nice breakdown area, so now we can work on Sinead's vocals. I'm gonna try and cut them up and put them in certain points. Bring that down here. I'm probably gonna cut them up in Ableton. I'll show you how I do that later on. Weird to be hearing it being played over and over again, but we're nearly there. Just a lovely little breakdown there now with the violins. This guitar could go in a little bit sooner maybe, so that you're kind of like, so that it just hits this point and you're like, oh, okay, here we go, we're coming back in again. Okay, how did I do this last time? Yeah. Soften that sudden stop there a little later on, but okay, so now I'm going to start looping it and I'm going to start playing with Sinead's vocal here. I'm kind of like, I think I'm going to try and cut it up into little pieces and see how it feels in different points. This is one of these things that can either work or it doesn't work, and it takes a little while to kind of mess around with, but I think if we, so the loop that she sent me is, I'll show you the loop again. I'm trying to see if it's the exact length of the bars that she had so that it's going to be easy to cut up. So I think it's a little bit less, so hang on one sec now. So if I go like this, that should cut it to the point, yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to go like this first. So nice. Okay, so we're gonna get this here, and then if I go over to the synth shot, we're gonna be using this guy over here to kind of cut it up. So you'll see me kind of going over for this guy a fair bit. And basically across to here, so down to the very end. So it has Sinead vocals over here. Okay, here we go. So you can see that little can see that little pink line here, but we're going to be using this guy a lot. Okay, cool. So let's start by playing. And we're going to go back over here now and start playing the track. And it doesn't really matter like kind of where we're going to do it. I just want to kind of fit in different parts. So sorry, for Teddy. Even rushed Sinead White vocals sound incredible. That's class. So now we go global and go to 8s, and then we go here. That's one nice loop there. And then we go here, see? Sounds so much like that kind of Gabriel sound. Okay, so I really like this guy. Okay, so then if we go back to one there. Yeah, so. This guy needs to change to 8s. There we go. Yeah, okay. So we'll color these guys again. So we've cut them up, and I think I'm actually going to try and get them to follow kind of a slight rhythm that the piano has. So let's go over to where the piano breaks down. I think it's here. Yeah, here. So here. So you go na 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 na, if you know what I mean. Give that a go. So, do you know what I mean? Okay, let's give this a go. See how we sound. We're gonna bring it up to where the piano is so that I can see what the piano's doing. Yeah, just here. Yeah. sure which note, but we'll find it now in a second. Yeah, here we go. Okay, cool. Can I go down here? So that's an option, and then the other one is this fella, which I think is lower. Yeah, that's not the right note, but it might be another note later on. So let's try this guy again. Just give that a go. Swap them over. So these all sound very kind of choppy, but we're gonna kind of smoothen them out a little later on. What happens if we just double this over and see how it sounds with the whole piano? Drag this guy out and try and find a better piece of it. Turn off the loop. Try this one. Oh yeah, same one. Okay, go. Let's try this guy. I'll cut this out and we'll straighten him up now and see how we go. It's like this little click sound that we're going to try and get rid of. So let's see if we can get rid of that now. What happens if we go like that? And pull back out. Pull this side. Still kind of, yeah, it's not mixing correctly once again. Oh, I know why. Okay, so let's try and not loop here. It's a bit better. Getting better now, getting closer. Alright, cool. So if we go like that, and then we go. This all sounds very funny and weird, but I promise you it will be better. Yeah. Ooh, nice little click there. Very nice. Okay. And then this guy here, and then move it like that. So once we add a delay to this now, this will sound nice and smooth, hopefully. Place we'll put it now, but give me 1 second. Filter now to kind of build up into that. See what it's like here. One second in. If we add this to the start of that, so get rid of that, get rid of this. And filter. We're just playing around now for a second. I'll try and see what if I'm gonna cut these guys out because I can get them longer. So if we get this guy and yeah. this guy. Sorry. So no, this guy. Yeah. Jesus, sounds like it sounds like Destiny's Child or something. Hang on. So. And then that goes for what, 3 bars? So then like that again and copy that over. No. Wow. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Like that. Take these guys out so that it doesn't have as much of a kind of a catch. Yeah, and then go and across over here. So close. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I see it. Yeah, it'll click over here. There we go. There we go. And then what if we pump that now? Woo! Pause. And then get ready for it to come in here. I'm gonna go to the bathroom, but I'm gonna leave it play so that people can hear what's going on in the track from start to finish, and I hopefully will be back before the track finishes. Okay, I'll be back in 2 seconds. actually we can go even more simple with this here. Just give me 2 seconds now. I think we can just like keep going with this. Still not fitting right. 1 second now. Yeah, this guy should be pulled back, yeah. Okay, there's a problem first of all. Yeah, this is still okay. So we'll go like this, and I'll like this. This guy. Like that. Thank you very much, Norma. That's Norma. She brings the tea. Quite like that actually now. Bring this up slowly so that you kind of ease into it a little bit. Very nice. Okay, we did something not right there now. Hang on. Take this guy, get rid of him. Save. And if we have a look in here, this guy should be going up, but I don't know why he isn't. Here we go. Oh yeah, he needs to go up higher. There we go. Much better. Thank you very much, Mario. Nearly there, nearly have a full track, which is great. Right. Lovely. There we go. Lovely. Okay. So the next thing we have to do now is record in the bass. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to record two versions of the bass. One that's kind of very expressive, and I'm going to do a lot with the turns and stuff. And then I'll do a much more simpler one, so that in case if I go absolutely crazy or it doesn't sound right or it's distracting, then we can go and fix it back up again or whatever. So let's do that. Okay, so we've got the bass in here. We're going to go turn on the record button. Okay, and I'm going to swap over to the synth shot. So here's our bass. Beautiful. Okay, so let's record that in now and see how we get on. Let's start from the start of the track and we'll try and get a vibe for it and give it a go. Okay. Okay, very nice. Very nice. Alright, so that's one version of the bass. I'll swap over to Ableton. So you can see it here. So we've recorded in that section of the bass now. You can hear it here, and you can hear I like kind of rise up and out. And it gets very loud at certain points and stuff like that, which is quite nice. Very good, Mario. Fair play. Okay, so now we're gonna get that, and we're just gonna save that. So I'm gonna put that over here, and then I'm going to re-record it, but just with a very normal, non-moving bass line, because sometimes it's nice to just have this very simple bass line as well. So we'll record that in now from here, say. Very nice. So I got the bass line from, there's a MIDI line here, and the MIDI line basically runs to the bass and is recording in now. So we kind of wrote that yesterday. Very simple bass line though, it's basically just following what the piano does beside it, which is great. So keeps it really simple, which is nice. Usually I could like kind of stop up now and record the next section, but I kind of just like to kind of leave it run and just kind of get a feel for the track around this time now. So we're kind of coming down to the end line now. We're nearly 3 hours recording today, so we're going to finish up now, and then probably tomorrow what I might do is do a full mixing day, which will be even more kind of calm and normal, smaller stuff than today. But we'll get it all done then, and that'll be a track done, and then we'll release it, which should be great. It's good to be able to write something and then just release it out. Usually when you're releasing tracks and stuff, it usually takes ages for everything to come out, and you have to plan everything out so much. So it's going to be nice to just kind of send this out once it's done. Lovely. I do. That's my trademark. Lovely. Lovely breakdown on that track now. Lovely. boost, yeah. Great. Okay. So now we have two different types of bass lines. I tend to like to go to the kind of the more movable one because I think it kind of just feels a bit better to kind of move a bass line and kind of have it like do different things while it's moving, and it's a bit more expressive. So I'm gonna stick this guy back in, and then I'm gonna have a listen to him on his own for a little bit. There's loads of nice little kind of movement points like that. Yeah, that's really nice. Just to give it a bit more of kind of bring out those little grains and stuff like that. And then we might try and put a little, just a tiny bit of this guy on it. Just even just the tiniest amount to make it just shake a little bit with the kick. And let's have a look and see. So this is where it is. You can see it here on the EQ. And one point that we're going to have to keep an eye out for is where the kick is. So we'll be doing more of this tomorrow, I think. But we'll be getting to this kick and we'll see what it's like in terms of how the kick and the bass are working together, because this is kind of one of the more important things when it comes to electronic music. So yeah, so you can see there's a lot of that bottom end of that kick and a bit higher up here. So if you aim for like around this area here, so you can see just around here. You can go a lot and see. There, like that. Lovely. 90% of the time when you're writing a track, you almost always turn the bass up too much because you just get excited because the bass is in. So I always constantly have to find myself kind of making sure that I don't put in the bass too loud. It's already sounding quite loud. So I can bring that down a little bit. Go to the master and see what a fuzz filter will do. See what it looks, what this track sounds like when it's gonna. Not doing too badly. You can see the hats up here going. So this is the whole track. This is the EQ on the whole track right now. You can still see kick and the bass are still pretty high. We're not doing too badly. This part is going to be too muddy, so we're going to have to clean out a lot of this stuff when we're doing the mixing tomorrow. But not bad. Feels very nice anyway on headphones. See how that goes. Strings are amazing. Fair play. There's Sinead. Yeah, I like that. That's what I was. try and put her out really wide now and kind of create the space, but we'll do all this tomorrow. It's really nice to have this guitar up a bit as well. Lovely. Great. Okay, so that's great. So we have the structure of the track now, and we have all the elements that we need. So now the mixing is the final thing. So we're going to do that tomorrow. And once that's done, then I can just give it a little bit of a master, and then we'll be pretty much there. We'll try and put together some artwork and some kind of visualized video stuff, and we might try and do that tomorrow as well, depending on how long the mix will take. The mix is going to be interesting because I'm going to need to do it with some monitors at some point, but we'll do most of the mixing on headphones just so you can see what I'm doing. The main thing will be to try and get the drums to sound really nice and crystal clear, to get all the levels correctly, and to make sure that there's lots of space so it's not just all kind of stuck in the middle. So that's about it. Before I go, does anybody have any questions that they want to ask me before I go? We have everything pretty much done here. Thank you so much for sticking around and listening. So good to see you. This has been great, getting new extra parts of the track that really made the track. Thanks to Claire Sands and to Sinead for sending stuff on. It's really exciting. Thank you guys so much for listening. And if you're looking for one of these mugs, these Daithi mugs, you can get them on Strange Brew. There's a link down in the thing. And if you want to get my record, it's also there. So thank you very much, guys, and we will see you tomorrow. Okay, see you later. Bye 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 bye.